Shohei Ohtani is the first player in Major League Baseball history to go 50-50. 50 homers, 50 stolen bases. Welcome into this emergency episode of Flippin' Bats. The one and only Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player in baseball history. He did it. He got 40-40 a little over a month ago, and the conversation becomes, can he get to 50-50? And the answer on September 19th of 2024 is yes, he can. And he did it with the greatest game in baseball history, which we'll talk about. We're going to talk about the game itself, the season that he's had, the journey that Shohei has had to get here, where the ball is, what's happening to the baseball that was caught for his 50th homer, some comments from Skip Schumacher that were great. But man, I'm rocking the shirt. You had to bring back the shirt. The famous Shohei shirt is back for this emergency episode because the man couldn't pitch this year. The man had his second elbow surgery, and he said, you know what? Watch this. And he went out and hit 50 homers and 50 stolen bases. He's already past that, but that's the mark. The only time in history it's ever been reached. I think it could be the only time that it ever happens because he's going to go back to pitching and we won't see it from him again for a while probably. And he did it all in what I would say was the greatest game of all time. It's so fitting for him to do this. Everything with Shohei feels fake. It feels out of a storybook. It feels like fiction, but it's not. The game itself ends up going 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 17 total bases in the game. So let's just talk this game. 6th player ever to have 17 total bases in a single game. First player ever to do it without hitting 4 home runs in the game. And he's the only player to reach 17 stolen bases or 17 total bases or more while stealing a base. And he stole 2 bases when he did it. First game in MLB history with 3 home runs and 2 stolen bases. Think about it. We're talking about history overall, and this is a big deal because he reached 50-50, but this is also the first game in the history of baseball with 3 home runs and 2 stolen bases. Legitimately, in my opinion, the greatest regular season game in baseball history. And we can talk about, there's been games, there's a game from the 70s, a pitcher threw a no-hitter and hit 2 home runs. Obviously, a few 4 home run games out there. But you add on top what he accomplished in this game, you add on the stolen bases, you add on the RBIs. I mean, since RBIs became an official stat, in 1920, only one MLB player has ever had a game that includes 10-plus RBIs, a game of 6 or more hits, a game of 5 or more extra base hits, a game of 3 or more home runs, a game of 2 or more stolen bases. Only one player has ever done that, checked off all of those things. And that one player is Shohei Ohtani. And he did it all in one game. Are you understanding that? Can you grasp that? Only one player in history has ever checked off all of those boxes in a game over the course of their career. And Shohei Ohtani checked all of those boxes in one game. And he did it all to reach 50-50. He missed the cycle by inches. He got thrown out at third base on a very close play, and what would have ultimately led to a cycle for him. He's the first player with at least 5 extra base hits and multiple stolen bases in a game since at least 1901. He also hit a ball 440 plus feet. So get this. I can't even fathom all of this happening in one game. That homer of 440 plus feet makes him the all-time leader in Dodgers history, in a Dodgers career, in 440 plus foot homers, passing Jock Peterson, who had 12 in his career with the Dodgers. Shohei passed his career number in the first year with the Dodgers. He hasn't even completed a full season with this team, and he's passed the career Dodgers record for 440 plus career homers. So there's nothing that even matches this in a regular season. Obviously, postseason games they're different, right? They mean more. But for a regular season performance, in terms of a regular season game, there's nothing that even matches this, let alone exceeds it. This is the greatest regular season performance of all time. And it all happened to reach 50-50. I mean, it was emotional watching it, like the emotion on his face. I thought Joe Davis did a fantastic job with the call on the broadcast. I felt like he rose to the occasion, as he seemingly always does. But there was a lot of emotion happening. You saw the emotion in Shohei. I thought the crowd in Miami did a really good job as well. Standing ovation. The curtain call to come out of the dugout as well was special. I thought a lot of fans deserve credit. I thought a lot of people deserve credit for what was the greatest regular season game of all time to reach 50-50. I thought Skip Schumacher deserved a lot of credit. The manager for the Miami Marlins. First up, you could see him in the dugout. He was clearly asked, hey, should we walk him here? Had first base open later in the game, Shohei up. Coach asked, hey, should we intentionally walk him? Put him on base? Skip Schumacher's answer, you could read his lips. He said, F that. I've got too much respect for this game for that shit to happen. And that's on why he didn't intentionally walk him. And then after the game, he was asked about it. Why? What went into the decision? Stuff like that. And his quote was awesome. Manager of the Marlins, talking about this, said, it's just a bad move. Baseball-wise, karma-wise, baseball gods-wise. You go after him and see if you can get him out. I think out of respect for the game, we're going to go after him. He hit the home run. That's just the deal. He's hit 50 of them. He's the most talented player I've ever seen. He is doing things I have never seen done before in the game. And if he has a couple more of these peak years, he might be the best to ever play the game. As a fan, yeah, I wish I was in the stands, not in the dugout seeing it. But I'm proud of the guys that were attacking him and not scared of him. That's how you should go after it. It was a good day for baseball, a bad day for the Marlins. That guy gets it. There's no better way to put it than he just gets it. He understands it. We're talking about a manager of a team that's out of it. They have not had a good year. It's been a brutal year for them, the fan base, the front office, and for that to happen in Marlins Park, at Lone Depot Park, is special. And for him to say, I wish I was in the stands watching. I wish I wasn't in the dugout. Like, that's just out of love of the game of baseball. What's the point of walking him? What's going to happen if you walk him? You're already getting your doors blown off in the game. You're not going to come back and win. There's no point. Just sit back, try and get the guy out, try and compete. And if he gets the best of you, which he's gotten the best of most people in his career, tip your cap. More than tip your cap in that game. It's 50-50. Standing ovation. The team gave him his moment. The crowd gave him his moment. Dave Roberts and him hugging at the top steps. I just thought, you knew it was coming, right? I've been talking about it for weeks. When again, a bit of a victory lap in this episode, because why not? I believed in this guy when he first came over when a lot of people didn't. But beginning of the year, I said, watch, 40-40 is going to happen this year because he's not pitching. Then he reaches 40-40, and I said, hey, I think he could get to 50-50. And for that to happen is already special, but for it to happen in the way that it did, I don't know. It was an emotional day. It was high emotion all around. Greatest game that has ever been played in the regular season, all to go 50-50. And I felt like just everybody involved, including Skip Schumacher, did a great job. For it to happen this year, this season specifically, signs the $700 million contract, the most sought-after free agent in Major League Baseball history. So we're already dealing, I mean, this goes back to, this process starts in November of last year. The only conversation becomes, what is going to happen with Shohei Ohtani? Is he going to re-sign with the Angels? Where is he going to go? Could a New York team sign him? Is he really on a jet to Toronto? Are the Dodgers going to be the team that ultimately signs him? So you had all of that last offseason. Then he finally signs the deal worth $700 million, which already becomes a conversation. And then it's all the deferred money in the world. So this contract is crazy. And then all the conversation of, is he worth it? Obviously, I thought that answer was yes. Obviously, everyone should think already that answer is yes. But is he worth it? Then the year starts. They go overseas for the first couple games of the year, and right as the season is about to start, right when the season is starting, first games of the year, his best friend steals $16 million from him. So you're dealing with your first game on a new team, on a new contract, trying to live up to all the money. Your best friend steals a ton of money from you. You're immediately caught up in a scandal. You immediately have all eyes of the world on you. You immediately have people that don't know what they're talking about saying, well, it's a cover up. I mean, the season couldn't have started more poorly in terms of just outside of the lines, outside of the foul line stuff that he ultimately had to deal with. So you're dealing with that. Then you're dealing with your second elbow surgery. He gets Tommy John surgery years ago. Now he has to get his second elbow surgery. And by the way, we're talking about crazy coincidences here and the game and how crazy it is that nobody's ever done those things before. He gets his second elbow surgery on, guess what? September 19th, 2023. Fast forward exactly 1 year. September 19th, 2024 is the day that he reached 50-50. Remarkable. So he's dealing with his second elbow surgery, rehabbing from that. The rehab from an elbow surgery is brutal. I mean, I saw it in the minor leagues all the time. You end up with guys that, when I was playing in Lakeland, that's where the spring training facility was and kind of the hub for the Tigers organization. Everybody recovering from Tommy John or their elbow surgery comes down there and just deals with every single day. This grueling rehab, this tedious process. Shohei is going through all of that while starting his career with the Dodgers and being a hitter and reaching 50-50. He's got married this year. He got a dog this year. This season is unfathomable for a baseball player. It's one of one. And I just think for it to all happen in this year is truly remarkable. So, what a year is an understatement. What a year for Shohei Ohtani is an understatement. The baseball. Where's the baseball? So there was a dog pile in left field where he caught it, where he hit the homer. Ball lands in. It's sort of this like little patio area. So it wasn't in your typical stadium seating. The ball lands over the fence, and there's immediately a dog pile for it. I mean, we're talking, I don't know, 5 to 8 people that jumped down below and then immediately tried to jump on the ball, on chairs, underneath tables. I mean, it was quite the ordeal. Ultimately, this guy ended up with it. And the fan reportedly went into a discussion with the Dodgers organization after the game. So game ends up, he did get the ball authenticated. So it is authenticated, which is big not to forget. After the game, enters a conversation with the Dodgers organization, ultimately decides to walk away with the baseball. Opted to keep the ball. Now what happens next? Well, we'll probably hear about for a while and hear about forever ultimately, because experts are saying this ball could be worth at least $500,000. Judge's 62nd home run ball went for $1.5 million. We've had balls go worth upwards of $3 million. The Pujols ball around $700,000 for a career homer number 700. So it could end up all over the place, but 50-50 is historic. The fan held on to the baseball. I don't know what the Dodgers organization and Shohei were offering him. Obviously, there's a little negotiation back and forth. He opted to keep it, which is a whole conversation we could have in its own right. Would you keep it? Would you give it back? That's an interesting conversation we can have for a different day, but that's what's happening with the ball. The fan kept it. The fan who knows if he's going to keep it or sell it, but we will find out probably over the coming days what's going to happen with it. What a journey for Shohei. You know, I sit back in these moments and look, I get it. People give me crap all the time about how much I talk about Shohei, right? Like, it's going to happen forever. Do I care? No. He's becoming the greatest player of all time right in front of their eyes. And I feel fortunate enough to get to have the experiences I did that lead to me talking about him as much as I do. One of those experiences was going to Japan a couple of years ago and learning about what led him to be the player he is today. And you know, one of the things I learned, it started when I went to Mizusawa Little League, where he first played, and this was fascinating to me. There's a creek beyond the right field fence at Mizusawa Little League, where he grew up playing. There's a creek, and eventually, at a young age, he was just hitting too many balls over the right field fence and into the creek, and was having to go out there and get them, and then they were losing baseballs, and ultimately they said, "Hey, little Shohei, you got to stop hitting balls that way. We need you to not do that anymore." So he had to learn to start hitting the ball to the opposite field, and he did it at such a young age. And it's really fitting that the 50th home run ball came hitting it to the opposite field the way he learned to hit homers from a young age, because he has to. A lot of his homers come to the opposite field, and every time I see one, I think of that. From there, ended up at Hanamaki Higashi High School, went to play for the Nippon Ham Fighters there. Instead of coming over at a young age, the Dodgers were reportedly in talks with him. If he had come over at that point, he's not going to be a two-way player. Think about that part of all of this. If he came over, the days of two-way Shohei, we never would have learned about. So he ends up signing with the Nippon Ham Fighters because ultimately they believed in him to be a two-way guy. They said, "Hey, we want you to be a two-way player." And man, I the rest is history from there, right? His manager there, who I love, become friends with, sat in his living room at his house. I just have all the great things in the world to say about his manager there, who ultimately became the manager of Team Japan in the World Baseball Classic. He no longer manages for the Ham Fighters, but the manager for Team Japan. Built up a good relationship with him. I've seen him a couple times since I went over there, and he deserves so much credit for the way that he handled Shohei's career. Ultimately, ends up signing with the Angels, who luckily had a manager like Joe Madden who believed in him and were willing to let him do the two-way thing, and now with the Dodgers. And that journey was just always meant to be. It's fascinating. He grew up reading this comic, this book, that basically tells the story of this kid that's becomes a two-way star and hits homers and pitches, and this fictional character is literally him. I mean, it's fascinating to me, the journey that Shohei Ohtani has been on, and for me to be, I don't even want to say a little part of that, but for me to go on that journey and see where he came from and see everything in Japan, and then come back and sit down with him and still be the only person in the United States to do a sit-down interview with Shohei for an hour, because because him and his agent wanted me to be that person. I mean, it's emotional. It's really special for me. They handpicked me to do that because of the way I talked about him, because of the reach that I do have in Japan. And Flippin' Bats is the #1 baseball podcast in all of Japan. And for a while in Japan, if you look at the top 100 sports podcasts, just in general, all of sports, the #1 podcast was Flippin' Bats with Ben Verlander. It's unfathomable to me. It's really special to think about, and that's so grateful to every single one of you that listens and has always listened, and what a journey he's been on, and what a journey that I'm on in this space as well. This journey has now led Shohei officially to the postseason. Top it all off from September 19th. And what do you get? After that game, the Dodgers clinched the postseason. Shohei Ohtani has played in 866 Major League Baseball games, the most among any single player on an active roster or an IL to never play in the postseason until this year. We're finally going to get him there. The Dodgers, congratulations, third longest postseason streak ever. Second longest being the Yankees from 95 to 07, and the first being the Atlanta Braves from 1991 to 2005. And the Dodgers reach it. I can't wait to see Shohei there. Every time Shohei plays in Miami, something special happens. He did this, reaches 50-50. You had the World Baseball Classic where he came in to close the game and struck out Mike Trout there. Just remarkable. And I could not be more excited to watch Shohei Ohtani play in the postseason. But what a game, what a moment, what a player. In my opinion, the greatest player in baseball history. I was saying it for years. This is the best talent we've ever seen, the most talented player. Shohei Ohtani is the greatest player in baseball history. Every single season, he is doing something special. I said it at the beginning of this. The man couldn't pitch this year. That's what he does, right? Shohei Ohtani, the two-way player, the two-way star. He's a superstar on the mound. He's a superstar at the plate. Well, this year, you take away half of his powers, and he says, you know what? Watch this. And he goes out and goes 50-50. Where will he end at this season? There's still a little over a week's worth of games. Will he get to 55-55? I don't know. I'm not going to bet against him. But what a year, what a moment, what a day for the game of baseball. I love this game. I'm obsessed with the game of baseball. September 19th, 2024 will forever be one of the greatest days in baseball history because of what Shohei Ohtani did. Thank you all for listening and watching, and had to do an emergency episode. You know I did. I had to pull out the old shirt. I know it's an Angel shirt. I don't care. This is a classic. And so was the game the other night. Thank you all for watching and listening. Please make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. It does really help. Leave a 5-star review. If you watch, you can watch everything on our YouTube channel, Flippin' Bats Pod there. Leave a comment there. And we're on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Flippin' Bats Pod for all of them. But what a day, what a moment, what an episode this is. I am absolutely thrilled for Shohei, and thank you all for listening. Remember, my friends, until Saturday with Smoltz, find your bat and flip it. Peace.